Hello, friends! So I promised that I would do a reading that I would typically do for myself. And so I'm going to do that for you. And so just a few preliminary notes. First of all, not everybody believes in the reading of cards. As I've said before, don't read tarot because I don't understand tarot that much. But I am not opposed to it. I know people who can read it very well. And I have nothing against it. So I read oracle cards and I read rune stones. Those are the things I read. I don't think of it as a substitute to prayer. In the Christian tradition, I don't see stones or cards as being predictive. They don't predict the future. We all have free will. But I don't think there's anything inherently evil in them. Intention is always 100%, right? So I intend to use these tools to think about my life as it stands today. I can ask a particular question or ask, how I should think about a certain issue. But they aren't soothsayers, right? They aren't genies in a little bag that are going to tell you the answers to everything. They just kind of help you think about the things that you might be thinking about. So today is just going to be a general reading. If it resonates with you, take what resonates with you. Again, it's not a guessing game. It's really just things to meditate on and think about. And again, not a replacement for prayer. If you don't agree with the reading of oracle cards or runestones, totally get it, because I was in that camp for a very long time. And but I think, like I said, intention is 100%. So these are tools that can be used to help you understand yourself better, understand things that you want to think about more. And they've especially during this healing process with my foot, I've really been able to, a lot of windows have opened, and some chapters in my book have closed. And so and it's been really sort of helpful to think about issues in a deeper, different way. So let's get started. So I use a bunch of different decks, but the two decks that I use the most to read from are called the Celtic Spirit Oracle and Soul Trees Oracle. And I use all different kinds of runestones, but my favorite are made from lapis lazuli. So these are the Celtic Spirit Oracle cards. And you take them, you knock on them 3 times, you blow out energy of a previous reading. I don't really let people touch my cards because my energy is in them, but when I read for other people, I'll read for them. And then they'll ask a question in their heads, or they can tell me out loud. But the question I'm just going to ask is, what should I think about right now? So you want to shuffle them. I do clean my cards with crystals. A ringing bowl will work. Smudging works. And incense can work. So, and then I keep a crystal in the bag with them to clean them. So, as I'm shuffling, I'm always thinking, about God's protection, God's white light. People ask if I ever worry about evil spirits coming out. I am protected 100% all of the time by God and Jesus Christ. So, I don't allow evil to come in, because God is stronger than evil. So you shuffle them a little bit. Wish I could show you that, but I'm shuffling them on my table. You just shuffle them like you do regular playing cards. And when you feel like you've gotten your energy in them, you want to start asking your questions. So this is just a general reading. What should I be thinking about right now? I tend to pull 3 cards, and I say I'm going to do, I thank Spirit for the opportunity to communicate. I thank Spirit for any messages Spirit wants to give me. And I tell Spirit I'll be doing 3 runs through the cards. So first run, I just shuffle them. I don't look at them. I don't think about anything. And I just wait for cards to pop out. So first pass, nothing. Second shuffle, see if anything pops out. Nothing. And third pass. 1 came out. I have 1 poking out here, so I'll take that. And I'll do 1 more, just in case there's anything else that Spirit wants to come out. 1 popped out. And no 1 popped out. So I'm going to take the one that didn't pop out and just kind of stuck. I'm going to put that back. And so I have 3 cards. And so I have the Green Fairy, which is, it says mischief, but really this card is about play and freedom and sort of not being serious all the time. And I have a tendency to be serious a lot of the time. So it's just a reminder to be playful and have a playful spirit. Oh, I have 4 cards down. The Crone Fairy Godmother is about wisdom, the future, and truth. So I don't get this card very often. But, you know, I'm asking about what I should be thinking about now. I have the Weavers, which is fate, manifestation, and decisions. I get this one fairly often. And I have, Spirit likes to play with me. I got the Rest card, which is stop, recharge, take care of yourself. And as you know, I'm not allowed to go anywhere because I have a giant hole in my heel. So what I do next is I take each card and I clarify it. And I clarify it using Soul Tree's Oracle cards. And so, and I should mention that as I pull the cards, I have this giant notebook. This is a giant notebook. My most favorite notebook ever. So I need stickers for it. So if you have stickers, please send them. And then I write down the cards. I write everything down and then I will reflect on it later. So I take each of the cards and I pull clarifiers for them. So I'm going to start with the Green Fairy because that's the one that I popped out first. And then I just take the soul cards and I ask Spirit to just clarify the card. Like, what should I think about in relation to this card? And I do 3 passes again, sometimes more if I feel like there's still energy left. So, you know, first I have to shuffle them and think about, you know, I say, please clarify the Green Fairy card. And most cards come with like a little book. The book for the Celtic Oracle is very good. It's got like stories in it, so you have to. I feel like if you weren't an English professor like I am, you'd have to like really like you might struggle with what the actual message is. But then the reverse is that the book that comes with Soul Tree cards is not that great, but the cards themselves have words on them. So you take them, you shuffle them up. And, boy, they're jumping out already. And you just asked, for them to clarify this card, which is the Green Fairy. This is pass 1. And the cards just pop out. And I don't pull them. I don't even look at them. I just think about, what's the clarification for this card. That's pass 1. Here comes pass 2. Oh, a whole bunch came out there. More. And I take them all. They pop out. I take all of the ones that pop out. And then later when I do my reflection, I kind of see how they fit. This one. All right, 3rd pass. Got a lot coming out here. It's a big stack. Okay, nothing on the 3rd pass. So, then I just take a look at what the cards are. So we have Flourish, Surrender, Birth, Compassion, Freedom, and that's interesting because freedom is also on the card itself, Psychic Knowing, Communication, Patience, Gratitude, Intention, Create, Strength, and a card that I get all the time, New Path Emerging. And so I take a look at the cards and I kind of, especially when I get a lot of them like this, I kind of put them in little piles the way I kind of think that they're going. So when I think about the Green Fairy card, for example, I'm thinking that it's encouraging me to play and have fun, and to not be so serious, to bring the joy that comes from understanding yourself, like bring joy to that. What's fun, right? And so, this is a new path for me, doing this kind of work and being public about it. I've done this work for a while, but being public with it and sharing it, that's little uncomfortable for me because I've always kind of kept it to myself. But people outed me, so since they outed me, I'm outed, right? And so I think of this new path emerging, and anytime we have a new path, anytime you go on a hike, right, you have an intention for that hike, right? If you're hiking the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to Maine, your intention is to make it to Maine. Your intention is not to give up, at the end of the staircase in Amicalola Falls, right? So you have to set an intention for whatever you want to do. If you want to have better friendships and better relationships, you set an intention that you are going to draw people to your life that together you each give and take a little bit, and then that partnership, that friendship is meaningful, right? But you have to make the intention. And I always say intention is 100%. Right? You can, like with card reading, if you have bad intentions, bad things will happen. But if your intentions are good, then good things will happen. All right. So the next card's create, right? So I'm creating something new, something that's different for me, in sharing this kind of strategy for manifestation and for focus, right? So I'm creating something new. But to remember to be joyful about it, right? Like once it becomes work, then it's no longer fun. I'm going to need strength to do it because there are a lot of people who think this stuff is malarkey, right? And even I think some of this stuff is malarkey. I mean, like when you watch videos and you see some of the stuff that people talk about, it's even way too far out for me. Gratitude, as I've said before, gratitude raises your vibration. It raises your vibration. And when you're more in tune with, when your chakras are aligned and you're gracious and you're thankful to God or your higher power, things go better, because the tough stuff doesn't stick to you as much, right? Because you're so grateful and your vibration is high. You have to have patience. Like, I'm not a patient person, especially with this foot. Not very patient. So it's just a reminder from Spirit that I need to be patient. I need to have good communication skills, right? Because I think, people have great messages to share, but they don't know how to say them. And also a card that I get a lot, that I didn't get this time, but I get it a lot, is speak your truth, right? People often assume that we understand what they're trying to say by not saying something, or they've said something and they're like, well, I said that. Why didn't they understand what I was saying? And it's like, well, if the message isn't received, the message isn't received and the person doesn't understand it, right? So, whatever, if somebody decides that, they're done with you and they don't tell you why, but they think they have, but you don't still know why, then clearly the communication was wrong or the communication was weak. So you want to just be sure that you're communicating effectively and making sure that your receiver understands the message, whatever the message is. There's hot dogs in the oven. Please turn them off in 20 minutes. If the person doesn't get that, you're going to have some burned hot dogs. So it's important to pay attention to both ends of communication. Psychic knowing is a card I get all the time. And I wish I was a medium. I wish I was a psychic. I wish I could foretell the future. I have really good intuition, but I'm definitely not a medium. But maybe that comes with life. I don't know. But I do know that there's some things that I know are going to happen or have happened. Usually bigger events with people I love and like. Freedom, interesting, because this came up on the card itself. And I think this card always reminds me of just freedom from my past. Freedom from this very strict religious life that I grew up in. Freedom from the opinions of others. Like, I don't care. If you think I'm full of crap, that's fine. I got my first dislike the other day on YouTube, right? And I was like, oh, somebody didn't like my stuff. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, I don't care. So I don't like it. Don't watch it. It's fine with me. Find something else you want. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube if you don't like this. Compassion, that is a key to the core of my heart. It's one thing to have sympathy, but it's an entire other thing to have compassion, because compassion always results in action, right? Sympathy is like, oh, I feel so bad for you. Compassion is feeling sad, but also doing something. And that could be giving money if that's what you have. It could be giving time or your talent, right? Birth, this is a whole birthing of a new a new part of my life, a new chapter in my book, just sharing the sort of things that I do spiritually. I have to surrender up the old life because the old me would not be sharing this stuff because the old me hadn't shared it for a long time. But then I was outed on Facebook for my beliefs, and so then people started asking. So I'm not ashamed of them. It's just that, you know, it was private. But now it's not. And by doing that, by playing, by keeping in mind, you know, being effective as a communicator and bringing joy, not being so serious, by using humor, I will flourish in this path. So I feel like that is what Spirit is saying with these cards. So I keep this card out. I put these back in the pile because they might be included in the next card. So the next card we have was the Crone Fairy Godmother. And I don't get this one too often, Wisdom, Future, Truth. So it's a great card. It actually looks like a friend of mine who's not into these kind of cards, but it looks like her a little bit. It always reminds me of her when I see it. So I do the same thing again. I say, you know, 3 passes. Please clarify the Crone Fairy Godmother card. And I don't have to shuffle again. I just am I'm gonna pull. And I don't look at them. I look at you. Oh, some are kicking out. It's a big deck, so a lot of come out at a time sometimes. But they always seem to work. They always seem to make sense. So they're falling out onto the table underneath me. But, you know, this is second pass. And thank you, Spirit. Thank you for whatever messages you have for me. Clarify this card. And you always want to say thank you to Spirit because Spirit loves to, you know, to have opportunities to be with us. And you know, whatever tools we use, whether it's prayer or whether, you know, it's the rosary or whatever it is you use. Oh, it's throwing cards at me now. You know, Spirit loves the opportunity to be in our hearts and to be in our minds. So I get a lot. So for the Crone Fairy Godmother, Wisdom, Future, and Truth, I got a lot of cards here. Let's see what they are. We have the beginning. So this video is the beginning of my sharing publicly, sort of the woo-woo that I do. And it is literally a transformation in my life. Treat yourself. So treat yourself well, right? Like, don't be hypercritical of yourself. Like, don't insult yourself while you're doing this kind of work, you know, and also treat yourself to like rewards for being brave and having courage. Adventure, right? This is an adventure. I'm going on an adventure. Guidance. It's so important that anytime you do anything where you might impact the lives of others, that you seek guidance, and you seek guidance from the right source, which is God and Spirit and angels and Jesus. Like, that's where you get your guidance from. You don't get your guidance from YouTube. Not even from me, right? Unique gifts. So I'm reminded that I have unique gifts. My focus is always wisdom and love, so I have unique gifts in that regard. There will be resistance. There are going to always be people who think that I'm full of malarkey. Heal heart and spirit. You know, be a person who brings messages that help people heal. You know, don't be a person who brings messages that make people feel like they're not complete or not enough, because really we are enough. Our universal soul, the light of God is in all of us, and we just have to like dig it out. We have to dig it out and let it shine, and that will heal whatever your heart's going through. And you do that through believing. You believe it's true. Chakra cards come out, so I kind of keep those to the side till the end. So be open. That's always a reminder for me to not think that everything is baloney and woo-woo. The freedom card came out again. So be free to share the message. New path emerging came out again. Intention came out again. Spirit really wants me to pay attention because he's come out all the time. Speak your truth. Spirit must have heard me, right? Speak your truth, one of my favorite cards, because, you know, we are so afraid to speak our truth. We're so afraid to say, this is who I am. Like, you're beautiful. Whatever you are, you're beautiful. You are amazing. You are amazing, 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 just the way you are. Tranquility. Tranquility and peace come from being who you are and not having to pretend. Teach. I'm a teacher. I've always been a teacher. Ever since I was a little girl, teaching my stuffed animal sign language and Braille. I have always been a teacher. It's another chakra card. Inner power. We all have the inner power to make great movement in this world and to let our light shine. And if we all opened up our hearts and all of our light shined, imagine how powerful that would be. Live from your heart. I often say that I live from my heart, but I live from my big brain. And so I live from my heart. I'm trying to do that more. I am a very passionate person. I'm on all levels, in relationships and what I do. I bring 100% passion to the things I care about and to the people I care about. Sometimes I get frustrated when others don't bring the same amount of passion, but I'm working on it. More chakras. Emerging came out again, and releasing the old, the old ways. So the chakras that came out, which is just a reminder to make sure these are aligned. I have the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. I have the third, which is solar plexus. So these are like down, like by your belly button and up here under your rib cage. And then the third eye, which is right here and signifies wisdom. So these are all clarifiers. So when I look at this card and I think about it, and what I do at the end is I do a big writing up of, like 6-7 pages of journal writing that kind of go with my card reading. And I think about, I look at the card and I think, what is the message I'm getting from Spirit? And it's really that, talking about the future, you have the keys to your future. And you can decide whether that is going to be a wonderful journey or if it's going to be stress every step of the way. And, we all have the power within ourselves to heal emotionally, to set aside the things that have hurt us over the course of our life and to move forward. And so by letting our light shine, by first recognizing we have a light, and then opening it up so that other people can see it. I mean, a lot of us hide that light away. We can see it. We know, like, oh, I have a little candle in there. I have a little candle. Look how bright that little candle is. Share that light. Share it. Share it with other people. Darkness hates light. If you've ever gone spelunking or you've ever gone in a cave, like your eyes are always looking for that little tiny bit of light, right? Because we love light. We are tuned into loving light. Be the light. Be the light. It's hard sometimes because sometimes days are bad. But try. It's what we're asked to do. We're asked to try. And to base our beliefs about things on tenets of wisdom. Like we are often influenced by our friends. Oh, well, if I believe in reading oracle cards, my friend is not going to like me anymore. They're going to think I'm a weirdo. Listen, you're a friend of mine. You already thought I was a weirdo. So I'm not worried about it. And honestly, if people aren't lifting you up, are they your friends? I really think a lot about friendship and how people treat each other. People who I don't even know have been so exceptionally kind to me, especially the last month while I've been injured. And then people that I thought, people who swore to me they loved me, couldn't even be bothered to see how I was doing. And what does that say? Right? Like, were those people even what were they in it for? So, surround yourself with good people. And the people that are so consumed with themselves that they can't ask after you, like they can't care 1 second about you, like, really? Those are the people who say they love you? Really? Is that love? It's not love. It's foolishness. And it's foolishness to fall for people like that. I find myself, I blame myself for being foolish and for believing the empty words of others. But now, it doesn't matter as much because I have a barrier up and I'm just going to pour out love. And love attracts love. And so good people will come into my life. Maybe people will return to my life that are full of love. But for the ones who don't, it's on them. They get to be miserable. All right, next card was the Weavers. So we do the same thing. Oh, I missed a card. Oh, clarity. How appropriate. It's important to be clear. It's important to know the right way and not to get lured in by false prophets. For example, if you think I'm a false prophet, don't be lured in by what I say if it doesn't resonate with you. Right? All right. Asking to clarify the Weaver's card, which is about fate, manifestation, and decisions. About, things that are going to appear. I'm only shaking them up because they got a little screwy while I was talking. All right, 3 passes. This is pass 1 to clarify the Weaver's card. The Weaver is like a dream catcher. And spiders are amazing. Spiders are amazing creatures. Don't kill them. Because they, number 1, they eat bugs. But number 2, have you ever seen a spider's web? They're so amazing. Right? And they do it every day. They do a new one every day. It's nuts. How many of us would live in houses if we had to build our house every single day? None of us. We'd all live in tents. Oh, those cards really wanted to come out. Sometimes spirits like that. Spirits like, pay attention. All right, pass number 3. Clarify this card. Anything else you want to tell me, Spirit? All right. Oh, Spirit's like, I better tell her. All right, what do we got? Oh, we have a whole bunch more. All right, what do we have? We have change. Came out again. We got expansion. So expanding my mind. And that, I know that's like a lesson to me because I am, I still have a little bit of that very strictly raised Anglican girl in me who has to open up and has to not be judgmental of things I don't understand. I need to, it's funny because some things I believe in fairies. Like that's something that a lot of people don't agree with. But I don't know that I necessarily believe in the fairies that you see on like Disney. But what I believe is that we do not understand the universe, and it is absolutely possible and probable that there are dimensions and identities and things that exist out here that we humanly cannot understand. So whether they're called fairies or have a different name or whatever, I absolutely think it's possible and probable that we don't understand what's going on. There's a whole universe out there. God is infinite. God could create anything he wants. And we might not have the keys to unlock it, and maybe belief and faith is the way we get there. So, expanding my mind. We have new growth. Definitely, I feel like a tree. Like new things are sprouting out of me all the time as of late. Clarity again, right? Always see clarity. Allow new thoughts to come into my mind. Love. Allow love. I used to be a person who blocked people loving me. I like to pour out love, but I wasn't always so great about letting people love me back. I'm changing that because if you open yourself to love, you're also able to give love. It's a beautiful, beautiful two-way street. Compassion came out again, which is love with action. Mystery. There's always mysteries involved in things we don't understand. So part of my goal is to demystify some of this stuff so that people can look at it and say, oh, well, that's not bad. She didn't call in a whole bunch of witches and stir up a cauldron or anything. Reconnect with spirit, right? So maybe some of you are feeling like you don't know who spirit is. You don't know what spirit is, right? Everybody has a spirit guide. Everybody has angels who are assigned to them. You all have an archangel. Mine's Michael. But you all have, the power of God and the grace of God in you, with you, all around you, all the time. It's us. It's our human frailty that prevents us from seeing that. And so if you need an opportunity to reconnect with spirit, or if you need help with that, hit me up. I'll sit with you. I'll have a conversation. Purpose. Have a purpose. My purpose is to shed light and love, right? And not to seem like a woo-woo, like I'm in it for the money. Like you see these folks on YouTube and they're like, oh, I'll give you a message, and for $19.99, I'll give you a better one. No. Love from spirit is free. Everybody can have it. Inner voice. Trust your inner voice. Speak your truth, right? Speak your truth. I, for a long time, was afraid of my voice. And I've been in friendships and relationships where I'm not able to speak and have not been able to speak because I'm afraid of upsetting them. I'm a very non-conflict kind of person. I don't like conflict. and I want to stay away from it. And I would rather never have a fight than ever like have a conversation about what went on. Try to be reasonable, try not to argue with people. And you don't have to argue with people to have a voice. You can really reasonably talk. And once you realize that the other person is not listening, you are no longer obligated to stay in that conversation. Right? You can say, you know what? When I was young, I used to have to always be right. I always had to be right. Like, damn it, this is the way it is, and this is right. Now I'm like, you know what? You think 2 + 2 is 27? That's great. That's awesome. Have a great day. I don't have to be right. I don't even have to stay in the room. Prosperity. Prosperity is more than money. Prosperity is the wealth of love that people poured in. Today alone, people have poured in so much love in little ways, and I'm so much more open. I see it so much more now, and I'm so much more appreciative. One person, brought me a bracelet, and another person sent me something that was really sweet. And, prosperity isn't about cash. Prosperity is about love. And when you feel love, you feel abundance. But there's always risks. You want to make sure that you prepare for people who take advantage. I have been taken advantage of in the past. Didn't know it in the middle of being taken advantage of, but I'm better at it now. Think about the awakening that's happening in you. Be cognizant of the awakening that is happening within you. Don't let it go by unnoticed, because it brings about renewal. You become strong, and you need strength, just like weight training, right? You don't start off lifting weights at like 1,000,000 pounds, right? You start small and you build up. You need strength to build up, and you get strong from building up. And just a reminder to stay connected to the earth. So those are lots and lots of cards that focus on this idea of fate, manifestation, and decisions. So when I think about that, when I think about this card and the weaver, it's just that, a spider web, in order for it to maintain its integrity and allow for the spider to sit in the middle and catch bugs, it has to be built correctly, right? It can't be done half-assed. It can't be in a place where it's going to get knocked over in 5 seconds. Like, you have to build your foundation on something strong, whatever that is. For me, that's a belief in God, in Jesus and Mary. For you, it could be whatever you believe in, whatever is your foundation. So you want to build your web well, and you want to make sure that you're connected to the right kinds of knowledge and guides and wisdom, so that you are able to manifest the things in your life that you want. I want love. I'm too old for shenanigans. All right, the final card is just rest, which I know what this card means because I get this all the time lately, and that's just to stay off my feet. I'm going to Maine. And I was supposed to be hiking 100 miles. I was very excited to go. It's going to be seeing all my hiker buddies. So I'm not doing all that, but I am still going to Maine. I'm going to sit in the car, like driving with Stacey, and Dave and his friend are going to drive me around, and hopefully, if with any luck, I meet up with some hikers and I can camp with them, and maybe, I don't know. I'm being open, and I'm allowing Spirit to direct the trip, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to shuffle these up because there were so many. All right, 3 passes on the rest card. What does Spirit want me to know about rest? Sometimes no cards come out, and then I know that card stands on its own. And that is often what happens with the rest card, but we'll see what Spirit has to say about the rest card. Pass 1, nothing. Pass 2. Nope, one of them came out. Something came out. Go, more. And pass 3. Oh, gosh, you're flying out of me. Oh. All right, not as many cards as the others, but we have Inner Voice, which is my inner voice telling me to sit down and put my foot up. Break Free. One day, look at that, it's like a dancing tree. Like, one day I will be dancing, it'll be a dancing tree. I'll be a dancing tree. Magic and Inspiration. And Release. So this is just a temporary thing I'm going through, but I definitely need to rest. I definitely need to take this time to heal. And in doing so, I've been learning a lot about my inner magic, not necessarily like, voodoo or anything like that. Trust me, there are no dolls in this house where I'm stabbing anything. But I've been inspired. There's, I could be here just miserable that I can't get out and that I can't do anything and that I'm really sad that I can't do any hiking and I can't be with my friends bagpiping and I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't go to music fest and I can't. And I could go down that rabbit hole of misery and whatever, or I could get inspired by all the things that I'm learning and the magic that lives within inside me. And that is the path I choose. So I choose to release the negativity and accept the positivity. So what I would normally do is I would write all this stuff down in my big notebook, all the cards, all their clarification cards, and then I put some music on, I have a candle lit, and I just write. Sometimes it takes me 2 hours to write, but I have nothing better to do while sitting here, and I enjoy writing, so I am an old fart, so I still write by hand in cursive, so my children can't read it. But they're not private journals. Anybody can read them. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'll publish it at the end. But if somebody else wants to type it up. But anyway, that is how I read oracle cards and with clarifiers. And oftentimes I won't get a lot of cards, so I'll pull stones instead. Sometimes the other night, the cards didn't give me anything. I ran through like 5, 6 things, and it was like, and I just got this inner voice that said, use your stones. We have nothing for you tonight. And I pulled my stones and I had an amazing reading. So, I listen. I listen to spirit. But I wanted to model for you what I do every single day. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Let me know your technique below. If if you do this and you have a video of how you do it, I'm very interested in learning how other people do it. I do readings for people if they want them. I do not charge. As I've said 1,000 times, I don't make money doing this kind of thing because for me it is light work. But there are people who do have to charge because this is their living and this is their time. So it isn't a criticism of them if they do charge. So that is tonight's very fascinating spiel. I wish all of you all the best in light and love, and I hope you are well wherever you're at. Be well. Bye-bye.